In today's video, I'm going to tell you about the most horrific incident to ever happen in South Africa. South Africa is known for having these amazing trends each and every year, but one of those trends was the salt and vinegar combo. This trend went from being a joke to literally becoming a nightmare. So to basically understand this trend is that you will take a coarse sea salt, put it in a glass and pour a brown vinegar inside, take a teaspoon, mix them and put them under your bed. So go to sleep, and over the next 3 days, you will see the people who are bewitching you. But bear in mind, traditional healers have warned people that do not try this trend. It is very dangerous and it will leave you in a very situations that you can't get out of. But South Africans being South Africans, you know that they will try each and everything to do the trend. So the two stories that I'm going to share with you today are the ones from the salt and vinegar combo. On the night of August 4th, 2020, a 32-year-old woman poured a sea salt and a vinegar inside a glass and put them under her bed. She told her husband that today you can sleep in the living room, and her husband knew what was going on, so he went into the room, grabbed a blanket, and went to the living room. 3 hours later, around 11 o'clock, the woman was still laying on bed and being unable to sleep. She was overthinking about what she was about to experience that night. The woman and her husband relationship had been very complicated lately. Reason being, she once caught him cheating with another woman, and then he told her that, you know what, this relationship doesn't even mean anything. I really love you and I wish that we should restart and rethink our relationship again. Even though the woman forgave her husband, deep down she knew that I can never trust this man ever again. So this led to this specific night, because this specific night the woman was seeking for answers. The reason for her making this salt and vinegar combo was to see if actually there are people who are bewitching her marriage or not. So as she was laying on the bed looking at the ceiling, she fell asleep. Few minutes later, she woke up to what sounded like someone whispering in her ears. She tried to ignore it, but it was very loud enough to creep her out. Before she can even wake up and try to figure out what was going on, her body didn't move at all. So in that stage, she was like, maybe I'm overthinking. I need to just relax, reposition myself, and try to wake up again. But when she did that, it didn't work at all. While she was still on that state of panic, she took a look at the corner of her room and something very strange happened. Standing at the corner of her room, there was none other than her neighbors. That almost gave her a heart attack. So she knew that, you know what, I have to take action. And even though she was desperate to take actions, nothing seemed to happen. Mind you, she's still in the bed, she can't move, she can't scream. When she tried to scream, the voice didn't go up, and she was like, this is my fate, I'm gonna accept it, I'm gonna let them do whatever they wanna do to my body. So the two neighbors knew that their dark secret will be exposed to the village to hear. So one of the neighbors just simply walked to the bed, climbed on top, and stood on top of the woman, looked straight at her. We know that you're gonna tell the whole village and our dark secret is going to get exposed, but this night is your last night. We are going to kill you and no one will know about us. While they were still saying that to her, her husband seemed to be waking up in the living room, feeling very strange. He was very thirsty. He went to the kitchen, grabbed a glass of water, drank it, and as he was drinking, the hair at the back of his neck started to raise up. And then he remembered that no, something is wrong. He knew that there is something wrong in the sleeping room. And in the sleeping room, who was there? His wife. And he knew about the process on the salt and vinegar combo and all the stuff. When he went into the room, he found his wife laying on the bed and her eyes was very red. She couldn't even speak. Her breath was out. He went to her and shook her up, and she broke out from the trance. So the next morning, the woman just told her husband the whole story and the whole experience. And something very interesting happens. Their neighbors usually wave their hands at them in the morning. Hey neighbor, how are you doing? But today it was very different. There was no neighbor to say, hey neighbor, how things are going? None of them. The neighbors were mad at them, and they knew that if we stay here for one more night, we are going to die. So they just packed their bags, get into the car, and left. We all know that at night we sleep, but not all people do. David was aware when he found himself in the middle of a lucid dream. So this happened 2 days later after he tried the salt and vinegar combo. He was standing on top of a building that he didn't even recognize. And standing there with him, there were people that he didn't even recognize, didn't even know, he never even met them in real life. But one of the people pushed him to the bottom of the building. And when he was at the bottom, he simply flew over to him and told him this: "You are not in control of this dream, and this is not your lucid dream." David was really shocked because he was the one experiencing the dream. And then he began to question his reality, if he is really in the lucid dream or not. Another thing he began to notice is that maybe he was being manipulated by someone else in the dream. He tried to escape, but the people in the dream followed him. And one of them simply walked to him and told him this: "If you keep on doing this, they're gonna find out and they're gonna come and kill you." The person also told David that you are the only one who's interfering with their nightlife because you are manipulating their plans and what they do to you. So David started to ask himself if this will affect his daily life or not. So as the person was speaking, David really managed to escape the lucid dream as he thought to himself. But what he didn't realize is that he wasn't even escaping. So he tried to switch on the light and he was yanked back to the bed, and the person came back to him again. You don't realize how deep this goes, do you? So David was really confused. How deep does this go? And the next thing led to another. David got back from the dream. He eventually managed to escape the dream. He was very sweaty and he was breathing heavily, and then he switched on the light. He took out his journal, wrote the whole experience, and then went back to sleep. The next morning, David had a story to tell. So this is the story that he told people. And then I found these stories on the internet. You can Google the salt and vinegar combo. It is very scary. I never tried it and I will never in my life try it. So comment down below if you will ever try this salt and vinegar combo. For me, when it came out, I think it came out around 2020 or 2021 or 2019. I think it came around 2019 and 2020. So the trend was horrifying. People were making memes on TikTok about them. They say that if you try this combo, you'll see people that are wishing you, and you see like some negative energies. So for me, I never tried this kind of combos and I will never in my life tried. Comment down below if you are a South African citizen and you think that this combo might help you, but I recommend that you don't do it. From me, Pope, the narrator, and I'm out. So David started to question himself if it will really affect. So David started to ask himself if he, so David started to ask himself if he's so David started to ask himself if he's so David started to ask himself if this so David started to help